We're switching now to basketball as we discuss the NBA for the first time in some while. Some say it is still a highly anticipated event. Others may disagree. We are talking about the annual NBA All-Star Game, a clash of some of the league's biggest and most talented stars against each other to cap off a weekend of festivities dubbed All-Star Weekend. Now, after much discussion and scrutiny about the competitive nature or lack thereof, the NBA, along with the Players Association, have agreed on a brand new format consisting of a mini tournament to be executed in February of next year. Here to discuss these changes is our very own All-Star analyst, Alister, who joins us via Zoom. Let's explore first, though, the format before we get Alister in and see where we're going with this discussion. So a mini tournament consisting of 4 teams and 3 games will take place over All-Star Weekend. 2 teams will meet in one semi-final, and the remaining 2 teams will meet in the other semi-final. The winning teams from games 1 and 2 will advance to face each other in the championship game. For each game, the winner will be the first team to reach or surpass 40 points. Each team will have 8 players and be named for an NBA analyst. The 24 NBA All-Star selections will be divided evenly into 3 teams, with the rosters drafted by NBA commentators and honorary team general managers Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith. The 3 analysts will make their respective picks for Team Charles, Team Shaq and Team Kenny for the NBA All-Star Draft on live TV, which will be conducted on Thursday, the 6th of February. The 4th team will be the winning team from the championship game of the Castrol Rising Stars, the annual showcase of top first and second year NBA players and NBA G League standouts, which will be played on Friday the 14th during NBA All-Star 2025, with NBA analyst and WNBA legend Candace Parker serving as an honorary GM for the Rising Stars champion known as Team Candace. The voting process to determine the 24 NBA All-Stars will remain the same. 5 players honored as starters in each conference will be selected by fans, current NBA players, and a media panel. The 7 players honored as reserves in each conference will be selected by NBA head coaches. And below the information for the All-Star voting, there it is. The 4 NBA All-Star Game head coaches will come from the coaching staffs of the teams with the best regular season record in each conference through games played until Sunday, the 2nd of February. The 4 teams will compete for a prize pool of $1.8 million, with each player on the championship winning team receiving $125,000, each player on the second place team receiving $50,000, and each player for the third and fourth place teams receiving $25,000. So that's how things are stacking up for NBA All-Star Weekend coming up in February. Alister Albert ready now to give his take on where this is heading. We've seen tweaks in recent years, Alister, with the All-Star Weekend. How does this latest one grab you?
I don't like it. Plain and simple, I really don't like it. But the thing about it is, you know what I'll actually lean on here? Because I do a little bit of acting and I have a little acting experience, I will say I do like a little plot twist. I like to see a little change here and there to see what will actually happen. But to think that the league had to, drastically amend the format of this tournament or this All-Star Weekend, All-Star Game, just shows how much they've just kind of continued to placate the players and their lackadaisical efforts on the court. And I think that's really what it is. They're trying to see if they could drum up as much excitement and bring a little bit of hype to it, because they've been bashed left, right, and center by NBA legends, by fans, by the TV ratings, and everyone kind of seeing the diminishing of interest in the All-Star Game and weekend itself. And right now they're just trying to see if they could infuse some sort of energy into this whole thing. Adam Silver during the off-season said he consulted Steph Curry, because of course the game is being held in San Francisco in Golden State, his home court, and he wanted to try to see if he could also get a players' insight and the Players Association to try to make this as competitive as possible. But to go to these lengths just shows how much it has fallen. The event has fallen, and this is why we're seeing such a massive change right now.
Yeah, what's your take on the players digesting of this, though? Because the official release does suggest that there was a meeting with the Players Association, but we are seeing pockets of comments from some of the big name players, Kevin Durant among them, appearing to suggest that they don't like it much.
Yeah, and I think what that shows is the Player Association, of course, headed by I think it's CJ McCollum this time. I'm not even too sure who's the president at the moment. It just shows, they've had these conversations, and a lot of these guys had to realize, of course, they're kind of looking out for themselves in the sense that the players have to look out for, the money and the investment that is put into it, and trying to see if they continue along this path, it's not going to be good for them. The game probably might have to end up being scrapped. So right now, you have to bring in guys who are going to be as objective and a little bit of company men as well to try to understand what the league is trying to do to kind of bring interest back and bring actual money back into their coffers. And that's what it is. But you see players like Kevin Durant, who's not on the players association executive, and these guys coming out and just voicing their opinions. They have no ties to the company, and wanting to kind of toe the company line in that and saying what they feel. But Kevin Durant did say, he might be wrong. Let's see how it all plays out. Maybe he might like it at the end of it, and that's kind of where I'm at as well. I don't like the announcements of it, but let's see how it plays out. Maybe it brings some excitement, maybe not, maybe it doesn't. But right now it's just PR wise and optics wise, it's just not good for the NBA.
Yeah, let's take a closer look at what Kevin Durant said, because he did make some pretty bold statements initially, but then someone probably got to him and he backpedaled a bit. So let's see his first comment. I hate it, terrible. All-Star Games format, changing all the formats is terrible in my opinion. We should just go back to East, West and just play the game. I think we're just trying to bring back the flair somehow with the All-Star weekend, but I think we just keep it traditional. We'll see how this one works. You never know. I might be wrong, but I'm just another guy with nothing but an opinion, but we'll see how it works. Now, after that statement, he came back to say this. Maybe, as I said, someone got to him. I probably should have said something else, to be honest. I can't be going up against the league like that, but that was my opinion. It's like tournament style. It's not really my thing, but we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see if it will stick and people start to like it, especially the players. The players are the ones that matter, so we'll see what happens. I should know better. I think those are one of those conversations you have internally with the guys. And that was the comment there at the end there, which suggested to me that he's saying there wasn't that much consultation, which isn't what the NBA is saying that there was with the Players Association.
I think what he says there, should have had that conversation internally. I mean, I think he means not necessarily with the Players Association himself, but maybe with his teammates, his all-star pairs, just having that little bit of a locker room talk, about how they think this thing is going to play out. But it's interesting that he backtracked, and it's definite that, he probably got some heat maybe from Adam Silver himself for saying that, because, like I said, Chuck, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, former players, Lou Williams, all these guys, Gilbert Arenas, all these guys who have podcasts and platforms are now just, slating this and saying that, they don't really like what's happening here. And it's there for everyone to see. It's plain to see. The ratings are going down. We saw a 211 points game the winners last All-Star weekend, the East winning 397 points, 168 3-pointers taken, 94% of shots coming from under the rim basically, and 3-point shots. It just shows just lack of defense, lack of effort, and it's right there for everyone to see. This is not really a good product anymore. But he realizes that if it continued that way, it's probably going to be a situation where the whole thing will just have to be scrapped and revisited in another year. But right now, Adam Silver is just trying to inject some life into this, and he probably has to just go along with it as one of the participants and hope for the best. I think that's where he is right now.
Yeah, it's interesting, Alister, because when I read the back end of that, Kevin Durant statement, I actually got the impression, Lance, that he was saying that it's the type of thing that you should speak about internally, but not go public with it in the way that he did. That's kind of what I was picking up from that. But also just looking at what Kevin Durant had to say about, maybe wider issues within the league, tournament changes, not just with the All-Star weekend, but what was it last year that the play-in tournament came in? And then I also look at the comments made by LeBron James, where he says, we got to do something. Obviously, the last couple of years have not been a great All-Star game that Sunday night. But I mean, listen, it's a bigger conversation. It's not just the All-Star game. It's our game in general. So what is it about the NBA, Alister, that the players are not happy with the direction that it's going?
It's not the game, LeBron. Don't do this. This is the players and their mentality. This is what this is about. You know, the game has changed. The All-Star game format that we're talking about, or the game just in general has undertaken. I just had to kind of go back in memory and try to understand what's happening. There have been 10 changes that have happened through the evolution of this game, starting back from 2012 when they de-emphasized centers on the All-Star ballots. And that was their way of trying to say, you know, the league is more versatile now. We don't need to have a designated center position if you have two centers that are really good. But what they were doing was ushering in, you know, Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Durant, and now Victor Wembanyama, guys who play on the perimeter. We don't have traditional centers anymore. We don't have Shaquille O'Neal's and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's anymore. So, you know, let's de-emphasize the center. We have, of course, the evolution with the three-point shot with Steph Curry and everything that these guys are doing where that's concerned. We have, of course, the scrapping of the East and the West. I had to kind of look at my notes there to kind of remind myself. And, of course, the in-season tournaments that we just saw completed, and the playing tournament. All of this has just kind of been an effort to try to get these guys to just buy in. Let's play some more. Let's try to keep you guys engaged. All the while their salaries are increasing and load management is increasing as well. So, you know, these guys are not playing. They're not playing enough. There's not enough pride and passion for the game. Yes, they're using analytics. Yes, they're saying, you know, guys are doing a lot more. There's a lot more wear and tear in the body. So they're trying to preserve themselves and all that sort of stuff. But the essence and passion for the game that you saw from the older generations, and I hate to be, you know, the old guy, get off my lawn in this sort of sense, but the older generation had a passion for the game. They wanted to play. They wanted to show off their skills. They wanted to compete. They didn't want to play with each other. They wanted to play against each other. You know, all this sort of mentality has just totally evolved with the game as well. And that has de-emphasized the level of effort that the guys are putting into the game. And I think this is what we're seeing as the outcome of it all. You know, a watering down of the game and everyone taking threes. We have general managers who have never played basketball, who are now running organizations, not to discredit what they're doing because they're really clever guys, but they just don't understand what it is to put a vest on and lace up shoes and go out on the court and compete. And I think this is just all the evolution of all the changes that are coming in, leading to, you know, drastic changes like this to just try to get some hype back into this. And it's sad to see, really, and that's kind of where I stand on that.
Yeah, you know, Alister, if we start talking about passion for the game versus, you know, financial reward, then we would need an entire show for just that alone, and we are out of time. But it's good to see you again, Alister. It's been a while. Looks as if... have you made a change to your hair or something like that? I mean, we've not seen you in that long.
No, you haven't seen me in that long. The hair's gotten a little longer, maybe a few gray hairs here and there, but I'm still... Oh,
yes, it is the gray. It is the gray. Lance, Lance can tell you how he deals with the gray hair, you know.
Right. Well, I see he's bald, and that's probably what I'll have to do.
There you go. Alister, take care.
All right, guys. See you guys again.
We'll take a break, yeah?